I pretty much have been just like I say, just kind of being more observant and more quiet about, just my content. I mean, I don't, before I used to just hop on and I'll just say something or I'll, make a video, live stream. I mean, sometimes I do that, but for the most part, I've been more reserved, and I'll continue to be more reserved in the next year or so. But one of the things that I'm compelled to talk about is basically what I see, and I've definitely mentioned this before, but I'm gonna zero in on this. And what I've been noticing, and I've really, it's kind of like come to I guess come to Jesus moment is that a lot of people that even top tier YouTubers, people with quite a bit of following, and even people that have a huge following, you would think that a person that is has a lot of people that support them or follow them, that they would be financially successful. You know, Obviously people follow people because they're the third man. They're the man with knowledge. They don't necessarily profess that they have money, so by default they would be someone like myself, a man with knowledge and no money. But it comes to mind that after a while, like I've had people question me as far as my channel name, and they say, okay, well, after a while, how do you know that you are pretty much not just a broke genius, but a broke fool? Because the question is very, um it's a very good question, basically, because it's like, when this person said that, I pretty much I didn't start arguing, I didn't cuss the man out, I didn't say he was a BAN or anything like that. I was pretty much calm and relaxed, and I kind of even laughed about it in stride, because it's a very valid question. It's something that I've even observed on my own. I mean, after a while, I would say that a person is still intelligent. People can be the man with knowledge and no money, even all the way to their grave. But one must have to ask, for even myself and others, because you got a lot of people on YouTube that I definitely believe that are men of knowledge. But the question that you would have to ask is, what is taking you away from the money, the wealth, being able to deal with that aspect? And the thing about it is, one would say, oh, if you are able to be intelligent and comprehend and be knowledgeable, you should make money. You should make bounds and bounds and leaps and bounds, of financial capital, because you just know so much, right? Well, that ain't necessarily the case. It's a lot of people that I've observed in my lifetime, that, yeah, they were somewhat, highly intelligent, even to somewhat intelligent, but they ain't necessarily equate to a whole bunch of money at the end of that. I mean, I've had people that have been family members, and they got a degree and went to college for a long time and went back to college, completed their degree program, and died in abject poverty. And the thing about it is the one thing that I have to say is a lot of times, the thing about it is it's not necessarily very easy to make money, especially especially if you're black in America, because the thing about it is, like I said in my last video, I believe in my Kaizen talks, one thing that limits black people, it's almost, I'll just say it like this: a lot of white people, mainly older white people, I would say, um, they already know coming in the door to expect that you're busted and broke, because their system works so well. They're so unified in their system that it works so great that 9 times out of 10 you are broke. You don't have enough money to be in their presence, whether it be in their neighborhood, whether that be in their store. You could rewind this back. You could listen to this and be like, "Oh, broke genius is cooning. He's no, by no means am I, you know, in the, house and being a house Negro. I'm stating facts. I understand how economics work. I understand how group economics work. And when you have a group of people that are working collectively, and then you have another group, i.e., black people, that are, doing this, doing that, you know, you come together to start arguments, not on one accord, not on one code, not just everybody just freestyling, independent. Some people are unified, some small little enclaves, some organizations, you know, and everybody else is just all over the place, right? Obviously, that group, because they're so dysfunctional and just so all over the place, they're not going to be able to compete financially. So yeah, it is going to be difficult to actually make money in that type of environment. And the thing about it is, yes, you know, it's people that unified are more unified towards a collective of people, and they're able to hoard, wealth and resources and everything and power and influence and all this other stuff. And yeah, they could assume that if they see you coming, oh, this person doesn't have any money. They might be wrong, but like I say, I mean, a lot of times they understand their system works extremely well, that 9 times out of 10, yeah, when they see you coming, you don't have any money. It's odd that you're here, and everybody, even if it's a racial component in a sense where everybody is agreed to, they're not going to sell their property to a particular or to black people. Let's just say they already have a code of conduct of business that they're not going to sell their property to black people. So when they see you in the neighborhood, they like, oh, okay, what are you doing here? And yeah, that's straight out actively racism, right? But at the same time, outside of that, like I said, I've been in business. I've actually had a small retail store. Out of the close to 3 years that I've had my store in a black side of town in Chicago, predominantly black side of south side of Chicago, I had a couple Mexican customers, one or two Asian customers, and one white customer that had a black wife that actually lived in an apartment building on the south side of Chicago. Okay, I mean, um, the property that I had that I was renting my store was obviously a white guy that owned that building, and pretty much you know most of the money that I made was going towards overhead rent, paying it back towards you know rent and the upkeep of the property. I mean, of the business. I mean, basically, uh, what I'm saying is when you go and you get money and you spend everything out of your own community, right? Or your own group, right? And it's going out the door, obviously there's nothing to maintain as far as any type of wealth when you're actually doing that, and you got millions of people doing that on a daily basis. Of course you're not going to have any money. I mean, it's just that's how it's set up, because that's how people are actually doing setting that up. And the thing about it is, back to all these smart people on YouTube that obviously are broke as well. I believe that's just a bigger issue to talk about. I don't, I kind of, every now and again, yeah, I do talk about the problems of relationships and stuff like that. But one of the things people don't really like about me is I'm almost too right. And being too right, it just, you know, it just kind of it just kind of pisses people off sometimes. And the thing about it is, as I've stated many times, as I pretty much correlated Maslow's hierarchy of needs to economics, to personal finance. Of course, you're gonna have problems with relationships when you don't have any money. Of course, you're gonna have problems dealing with people and or even women when you don't have any money. It just goes hand in hand. I mean, uh, I broke that down plenty of times on different videos on how when you're on the bottom, you don't have any opportunity to actually have a successful, fulfilling relationship. It's almost impossible because you're in survival mode. Being in survival mode, you don't have any opportunity to have any success because you're too busy trying to survive. The best you could do is find someone else to survive with, and you both basically join this basically livelihood of trying to survive and make it. Paying your bills and taking care of the children, trying to put food on the table. Those things are very, very basic, but for a lot of people, for a lot of households, that's something that's a challenge from one week to the next, or even one day to the next. You got people living in hotel rooms, and they don't have adequate housing. I mean, how are you gonna have a successful relationship with anybody um in that type of situation? I mean, obviously, being on the edge of society like that, it's gonna be a lot of angst. There's a lot of you know um just nervousness and anguish and heartache and pain trying to, pay for a hotel room and eating out a lot because, it's kind of difficult to cook. And I mean, just, trying to live like that. Just imagine trying to have some type of successful relationship, or even paying for a rental that you barely can afford, paying for a high price mortgage, and all of these other bills that go with that. I mean, those scenarios don't include uh cohabitating with someone that, you could just have some type of peace of mind and stuff like that, because you don't have any peace of mind. You are both on the edge trying to survive. And when you go to, it's kind of like one thing I'll never forget, and this is what I learned, um basically, when you just talk about the edge of a problem and you don't deal with the root of the problem. Yeah, you can talk about the edge, like the leaves of a tree, but until you deal with the root of the tree, the leaves are, somewhat of a sign, something for you to actually focus in on and talk about. But the roots tell the whole story of why the leaves are either, green or yellow or whatever the case may be. The root tells more of the tale of why the leaves look like they do. And the thing about it is, a lot of times focusing in on relationships is just kind of focusing in on the leaf of the tree, or the even the branches. If you focus on the branches, it's not enough until you focus on the root of the tree, and it's like focusing on resources, finances, focusing on a lot of things are controlled by money and power. Okay. It just is. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to face that, but it is. It is a lot of influence on your decision, how much capital you actually have flowing through your pockets. I mean, don't get me wrong, people should ultimately respect one another. I mean, no matter if you got a good day, a bad day, you should get some type of respect. No matter what, right? I mean, it doesn't take much to respect someone else, right? And I get it. Yet at the same time, I'll never forget my ex-wife mentioning, the fact that if I was basically well off, I probably wouldn't have chose her. And even though at the time I was probably I mean, it wasn't no probably, I was simping hard. Probably said no, I wouldn't, blah blah blah, knowing damn well she said something that basically is true. A lot of times, even how you choose the woman that you choose to be with is based off of opportunity and what type of money you have flowing through your pocketbook. It just does. A lot of times, that's what it is. I mean, if you're able to travel and meet people by traveling because you have the resources to do so, you're able to do that. If you don't have the money to go downtown your own city, you know, you're only gonna meet people in your, basically right in front of you, wherever you are. So you got people that they live in, Chicago, but they don't go downtown because they don't have the money to really go downtown and have a good time like they want to. It actually costs money to go down. Well, it doesn't cost money to go downtown, but if you really want to have a good time, it's gonna cost some money to go downtown. And you got people that just rarely go downtown or don't go downtown at all because they know they can't afford it. And it's basically a lot of options and a lot of things that you could have based off of you having your finances in order. A lot of people are not able to do. A lot of people are not able to tap into. And I mean, that's why I created the Millionaire Savings Plan. I mean, it was my basically my toolkit to navigate this financial world the best way I can. And the thing about it is, I know a lot of times, people people don't really say too much because I don't necessarily um people just they're waiting for you to shut up. That's really what ultimately people are trying to do. They're waiting for you to shut up, or they're waiting for you to get bigger, and then they'll come and try to knock you off. So people just quiet because I got my little small little operation, my little small voice, small views, and whatnot. It is what it is, and I'm okay with that. I'm very much okay with that. It's kind of good, but it is what it is because I'm okay. I know people watch me because I hear people talking like me. That's basically how I know people are watching me in the shadows. People actually they're repeating the same thing I'm saying, almost even verbatim. And it's like I get it. I mean, it is what it is. I'm kind of not I understand. I'm kind of I don't know. I won't say scary, but I'm not that approachable. I guess I would say, because yeah, I can kind of drill down on certain things and ask some tough questions and you know have you want to scurry off and shit like that. So I get it, but at the same time, it's like trying to talk about just relationships at nauseum. you know, I don't do. I really really gave that up when I kind of saw how a lot of things are financially related. And uh, it's a certain thing in the black community that is you know not necessarily, like I say, financially related at all the time, because it's like you shouldn't have to have a whole bunch of money to have a certain level of respect for someone, as you do in a lot of the black community. But the thing is that when it comes down to options and choices in life, and even health, I mean, health is very much important as well. It's the ultimate level of importance. That should be something that is talked about. Um, we're going through something right now with the pandemic, and nobody's mentioning, nobody's talking about your immunity, about how you need to boost your immune system. Uh, you got people that getting the shot and still getting COVID, and wonder, okay, what the hell? And it's not, and nobody's telling them that you need to boost your immune system. You know, um, you need to drink more, like raw vegetable smoothies and fruit smoothies to boost your immune system. Eat more fruit. eat more vegetables, you know, um, lay off some meat, you know what I'm saying? Like eat more fruits and veggies, fast, detoxify your body, actually have a herbal colonic. All of these things kind of help, help your liver function, help your kidney function, your heart, your your gut system, process things out and boost your immunity in the process. But people don't talk about that because um I guess I don't know. I mean, the money is in the cure, I guess, or the supposed cure. But the thing about it is, it never was a case where, um, health was not important. And the thing about this, like I say, this pandemic thing, your immunity is definitely important. I mean, all you got to do is watch my three strikes video. I mean, if your immunity is messed up, only and you don't address that issue, basically your immunity is your defense. You don't got no defenses, you get sick. And then if you can't fight off that sickness, ultimately is nothing left. It strikes out, you striked out, and you're no longer living. And the thing about it is, yeah, talking about shit that you shouldn't be talking about, you got to ask yourself, why is so many people talking about stuff that you know is not necessarily um individually important for everyone? Like, you know uh what good is a relationship when you sick as a dog? What good is trying to get a relationship when you're broke as hell? When you're broke as hell, you got no wealth. You got no wealth for your children. You got no wealth to give any future children that you plan on having. What good is all of that talk? I mean, and the question remains, you got to ask yourself, you know, um don't get me wrong, I do believe that there's definitely problems within the black community, is problems within the justice system in America, it's problems with family court in America, and all these other things, right? But at the end of the day, they're not they're not necessarily uh the end all be all. It's other problems that are more important to me, in my opinion, my strong opinion. This financial thing is more of a concern for me, because basically you got you basically got the upper class. They're basically aligned and connected and grouped up and hoarding capital and wealth, and you got crumbs that are flowing out of those pockets, and you got the upper class and the middle class trying to get the crumbs, right, that's left over, and it's very much little left for other people to get. You could work your whole life away and be bitter, you know about a divorce or about a failed relationship, and you haven't addressed the fact that why you got to work 30 years and 40 years, why you got to get up every day and pay this enormous mortgage and all of these other bills and stuff like that. And it's not to say that the option is just to give up. No, you shouldn't give up, but you should ask yourself, why are you stuck in this matrix type of existence where you're trying to fit in with everybody else and keep up with the Joneses, when you should ultimately just hit the reset button and maybe uh you know try to drastically change your life and change your lifestyle to where is more money coming towards your pocketbook, and you start to focus on yourself and your children, and that's it, and just have tunnel vision towards saving and ultimately getting out of debt and investing. And I mean, here's the thing, because I might be rambling, but this is the thing. Whatever problem you have right now, just imagine you had $30,000, 30 to $100,000 for that particular problem that you have, and that's your answer right there. That's what you should be focusing on, because, like I say, if I had $30,000 right now, a lot of my problems, I'm not saying that it will solve all of my problems, but my immediate problems will be just with the Thanos snap be resolved. You know, I mean, literally. In the more you think about it, the more money that you think about, yeah, it will solve a lot of issues and problems. And that lets you know a lot of people's problems are health and financial. So relationships, yeah, people have problems with social dynamics and people and shit like that. But most people's problems are financially related and health related. And a lot of times, healthcare, even if it's homeopathic medicine or homeopathic healthcare, natural healthcare, it gets expensive. Those supplements and things of that nature, they're not necessarily free. It doesn't probably cost as much as pharmaceuticals, but you know, healthcare is definitely a cost, no matter how you look at it. But the thing is that those tend to be what people's problems are. And yeah, people do have problems with social relationships, dealing with the family dynamic, ex-wives, kids, and problems as such. But a lot of times, that's even pressured with child support and all of that type of stuff, um lack of visitation and stuff like that. And it goes, like, pretty much it all goes back to the money, and it's not gonna change anytime soon, you know um and a lot of times, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say people that just their whole channel is focused on relationships and stuff like that, or women or men or whatever, those people are not necessarily smart. But you gotta ask yourself, well, what if you can pretty much put $50,000 into the scenario of whatever problems you might have or might be talking about, and I mean, those things might be a change of a situation. I mean, $50,000, $30,000 is enough money to, you know, uh, get some things together. It's more than enough money to get you a passport and, pretty much go to another country and find some woman that is more worthy of your time and effort and energy than what you're facing. If you don't necessarily even need $30,000, but I mean, it helps. And a lot of times, I mean, that's what people don't understand. That you crying and focusing in on American women, like the Lenny Kravitz song, when you can just focus on getting your passport for cost what, $200, and then I don't know, possibly even learning to speak a foreign language of where you planning to travel, or even just, I don't know, meeting someone that is, from that country that you're trying to travel to help you navigate. And then boom, planning the trip, getting on the plane, boom. It's like problem solved. And then you realize when you come back to your country, to come back to the United States, you're like, damn, I could have been wasting another 10 years complaining and arguing and being pissed off at the women from my own country. I could have just got on a plane 10 years ago, 5 years ago, instead of like listening to other people complain that, you know, ain't really necessarily talking about the solutions. I'm not saying people do talk about that, but people don't listen. But the thing is that that's definitely an option, And the thing about it is, I've been knowing this for over 20 years. I mean, I've been knowing this. I ain't gonna say 20 years. I'll say definitely a good 10. That you know, those problems are very easily able to be resolved with the little communication, passport, and a plane ticket. You can, and then maybe some, years of immigration paperwork can be pretty much resolved, and they don't even cost $30,000. That's like all of that. What I just said costs about probably anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000. So yeah, I mean, you're gonna have people that probably, you get it taken advantage of and all of that type of stuff. I mean, the thing about it is, if you haven't resolved your problems, if you're a simp in America, you're a simp overseas. If you haven't understand the law of reciprocity and all of that type of stuff, I mean, it's not, someone that is, pretty much overseas is not gonna solve your simp problem. But I mean, at the very least, I could say is that if you're pretty much a nice guy, I mean, you'll probably get more reciprocity from someone that is appreciative from another country than in this country. But like I say, back to the whole, all these smart YouTubers and smart people on the internet and shit, that are flat broke. You gotta ask yourself. I mean, I pretty much, if you've been following me, I tell you why I'm broke. I told you, I give you the broke stories. My whole plight and my struggle. A lot of these other motherfuckers ain't telling you about their plight though. You gotta ask yourself, why these other cats ain't telling you why they broke. They definitely ain't rich, but they broke. But they ain't telling you why they broke. And that's the question to ask. I mean, I ponder it. And I've definitely asked. And the thing is that I ain't gonna say, like I say, you have a whole bunch of money tomorrow. Everything is just wonderful and life is grand and all your problems are solved. But probably will solve most of your problems. If have a couple $100,000 more than you did before, you start changing your life around. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, a lot of things are pretty much a revolving door about how much options you have in life. Like, for example, a lot of times people have to do what they have to do. Go to work, go take this job, go do this, go do that, because they don't have any other options. Because they don't have any capital to, live life how they really want to live. A lot of times if you got the money, once you got the money or enough FU money, I mean, pretty much you could do what you want to do in life. You don't have to do what you have to. Because, see, most people, like I say in my book, the Millionaire Savings Plan on Amazon and on brokegeniuses.com, most people do what they have to do. Very few people do what they want to do. And in order to do what you want to do, you got to have a certain number of money, capital, reserves to be able to do that. I mean, it just goes without saying, and you got to be able to consistently bring that in and have that diversified to where, you don't just go out and do anything you want to. You do stuff, the smart way to where, okay, yeah, you go. I mean, let's just say you just want to start a pine tree nursery, and just start selling Christmas trees because the price of Christmas trees went up, right? Well, you need to you get a consultant or you find out how much it costs to start a tree farm, and you make the right calculations and numbers, and you diversify that business, and you try to figure out a way to make money with it to where it's bringing you in money. You get the right partnerships to help you in that process, and if that's what you want to do, you do it. I'm not saying you go and just trick off money and then because you want to do it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you do more of what you want to do to make you more money in doing it. Because it's like basically it's like a circle. You do something and it makes you more money and it keeps money coming in, but you really want to do it because we all have to do. You have to do something to make some money. Unless just put your money away or something like that and collect interest off of it. I mean, of course you could. If you got a certain amount of money, you could put it up to where it's making you money and you live just off of that wealth. I mean, you can ultimately do that and then absolutely just enjoy your life, or retire early. But the thing is that the smart person will take that money and just kind of invest it into endeavors that they would like to do and still make money in the process. So anyway, this is just a thought, and I mean, this is definitely something that is relatable to what's going on in the YouTube, space or whatever. But yeah, I'll continue to, like I say, focus on my channel Tenements, which is faith, health, wealth, and knowledge of self.